everyone. So we are UX Galaxy, and my name is Chloe, as well as Chia-Yun, and my teammate is Sugandh. So today we are going to present our Capstone project on the topic of the social disconnect of online learning. Next slide. Okay, so I will walk you through the project background, the user research we discovered, and how we finalized and defined the design direction, then moving to the design details and the final deliverables. Next slide. So here is the design process we followed. Starting from user research, generate idea, craft out the detailed design, and evaluation. Next slide. Let me give you the project background here. After the pandemic, online learning is drastically growing. According to the statistics, the number of the online learners increased over 2 times comparing pre-pandemic. Even though online learning is convenient and flexible, it still causes some problems, and we can tell from some comments from the online students. One of the online students said, "The greatest challenge is the inability to collaborate with my classmates in real time, like we are in class together." The other comment said, "I didn't learn any of my peers' names. It was just like me being the only person in the class." Hence, we cannot deny that online learning causes isolation, social disconnect, and loneliness for learners. So we framed out our project objective as how might we reduce the social disconnect for students while learning remotely. Next slide. So firstly, we discover the problem from benchmarking analysis and affinity mapping. We conduct benchmarking analysis for 5 online learning platforms to discover opportunities where they can succeed in this competitive online learning market, and why users love to use their service to learn online. In the meantime, we ran 11 virtual interviews to dive into the user pain points to better understand their frustration and difficulties in making connection while learning online from real users. Next slide. From benchmarking analysis, we conducted some key takeaways that how they can deliver successful online learning service. So firstly, is building community. Building community that make learners feel more engaged in online learning. It also provides opportunities for learners to learner and learner to instructor interaction. Second, providing instant feedback to learners. Students are eager to get responses as face-to-face talking, not sending out an email then waiting for a reply a few hours later. Thirdly, make motivation-driven activities. Lack of face-to-face interaction. Some students find it hard to focus during online classes. Their motivation, challenges, and activities provide a sense of belonging that keep you motivated to continue. Next slide, please. So moving to the user interview, we designed the open-ended question based on the different focus and different user groups. For example, in the question for students, we will focus on the learner experience while taking the online course. And for the teachers, we will more focus on what kind of features or functions are helpful for class engagement or great for connecting with students. So we designed 2 versions of the questionnaire for 2 types of user groups with different focuses and directions. Next slide. So let's see what insight we got. We interviewed 11 online learner users remotely, including 1 focus group with 3 students, 5 individual interviews with students, and 3 individual interviews with instructors. As a result, we found users complaining about that they don't have casual interaction while learning online and have no class activities or free time that can make connection with other participants. Especially during the live lecture, there are too many profile windows showing at a time to recognize each participant. They also point out that being unable to interact with other participants would lose their motivation for joining the classes. So we repeatedly heard that users are craving a learner community, but don't have a clear vision of what it would be like. One of the main factors is the online learning activities are task-oriented, and users don't have any expectation of making connection with others. Next slide. So after the brainstorming, we grouped our ideas into 3 sections. The first section is about the user interface for triggering the interest to provide casual interactions. The second section is about the activities for increasing the occasions to offer the opportunity. The third section is the community for social cohesion to give the user a social community. Next slide. And interestingly, we found a pattern that users are aiming in one direction, is to have a place to show their personality. Therefore, we finalized the hypothesis solution to have a feature that is a social community can provide opportunities for casual interaction, such as chatting, liking, and sending emojis. So the user would feel social cohesion while online learning. Next slide. So once we conclude the solution, we craft out the storyboard that describes a chat feature could indicate the user status and create opportunities for casual interaction. So let me introduce our story. So Sandra is a 27-year-old online learning student. She's taking the online master's program. And her goal here is to look for help to understand how to do an assignment. So in the first panel, one day, Sandra is sitting in front of her computer, looking stressed and overwhelmed. She said, "This assignment is impossible. I need help." Moving to second panel, she goes to click on the community tab of the online learning platform because she's trying to find someone who can help her out. So she finds Mike. It's online, and the status shows that has submitted the assignment. So Sandra is surprised that he has submitted it and thinking to ask him for help. The fourth panel describes that Sandra started chatting with Mike on the online platform, and she said, "Hey, I'm having trouble with the assignment. I saw your status, which shows you have finished. Wondering if you can help me out." So Mike is very welcoming and gives Sandra some suggestions. Sandra figures out the approach very quickly. So Sandra finished this assignment and gets to know Mike through this chat. This also opens up the other opportunities for more casual interaction further. Next slide. After creating the prototype, we carry out user testing to verify our design. So firstly, our approach is we presented them with 3 scenarios and corresponding tasks to perform on these 3 main features that we designed. So during this process, we observe their performance and ask them to use the think aloud method, which allows us to understand what was going through their minds while performing the task. Secondly, upon the completion of each task, the user rates the intuitiveness and helpfulness of the task flow on a scale 1 to 5. 1 indicates that task was unintuitive and unhelpful, while 5 indicates that task was highly intuitive and helpful. Lastly, we follow up with questions such as asking for an explanation of their rating consideration or whether they had any suggestion for change. This helps us to gain a better understanding of their perspective and any potential area for improvement. Next slide. In total, we did 2 rounds of user testing after a few times of iteration. So the evaluation involved interviewing 8 online learning students, their age between 23 to 38, consisting of 5 females and 3 males. And the result shows that regarding the intuitiveness rating, which evaluates the ease of access, we received the final score of 4.4, 4.6 for the chat feature and community feature. As of the helpness rating, which measures users' satisfaction, we received the final score of 4.6 and 4.8 for chat feature and community feature. However, looking into the not highlighting feature, the score fell at 3.6, both for the intuitiveness and helpfulness. While some users found it easy, and others still struggling. Next slide. So let's see what users said. So for the chat feature, users were having difficulty finding contacts who were in the same class as them. And the chat icon will, with the wrong button in the right bottom corner, gave the impression of the chatbot or customer support, which was confusing for users. And moving to the community feature, users found the community cover confusing because it shows the creator's photo and they didn't know who the person was. To address this, we could provide a description for each community. Users were also unsure how to join the community and were surprised to find that they could access the content without any confirmation. Therefore, it's essential to provide a join button and the breadcrumb to allow users to navigate to our community. Regarding the not highlight feature, one user was unable to complete the task and got stuck on the course's screen. And the user also found it challenging to recognize where the nodes were, and there were too many information clusters presenting at one time. So the solution might be minimize and group the section to provide necessary interactions. Lastly, users mentioned that the information hierarchy was unclear and they were lost in the middle, unsure where to go. Therefore, we should consider providing a clear information hierarchy and a call to action button to help users navigate through the feature. Next, Sugandh will walk you through the design, the consideration, and the prototype.
Thank you, Chloe. So while working on the prototype version 1 and version 2, we considered design principles and we applied the following design principles, which was visibility, feedback, consistency, efficiency, aesthetic, and with minimalism. Under visibility, we made sure that the information on our prototype is easy to find, it's available on the interface, and it's easily accessible. The feedback, so under feedback for our version 1, we didn't have any confirmation that the user action has been performed. There was no confirmation being given, but we made an iteration in the version 2, and that's how we included this design principle. Under consistency, we have made sure that the layout is consistent for in our version 2. Under courses and community features specifically, this simple language is being used all across. While user testing, we made sure that it take minimal time for our users to complete any task or user flow. So we also took care of the efficiency of our prototype. Under aesthetic and minimalism, the color palette, which you will see in the following slides, is almost similar to our existing OMD colors. It's a clean design with minimal distractions. So like, I don't know. Okay, so I'll start with the design enhancements, which we made in version 1 and version 2. So as you can see, in the first version, there was no filter. In the usability testing, we got to know that the users are only able to see all messages and they can print messages. They cannot filter out the messages. So when we did the second iteration, we included a filter where users can filter the messages based on the date and courses available. And the messages in their chat feature will filter accordingly. Under community feature, our version 1 had a long scrollable list. There was no description given about the community, like what the community is about and how many users were present. Which in the version 2, based on the feedback, we made changes. Now in the version 2, we have the community's name, the description. The users can pin that community as their favorite. They can also see how many users are present in that community. And we also included hashtags so that it's easy just by looking at the community page that what the community is talking about. We also had the feedback that there was no description in the community. So earlier, like our version 1 had only 2 sections under community feature, which was post and event, where users can just see post or write a post, create an event, or just see the past events. Now in version 2, we distributed that community section into 2 subcategories, which is about, post, and events. Now, when a user clicks about, user can know more about the community, what it stands for, and who has made that community. Plus, write a post, see older post, attend an event, or see older events. In the note highlighting feature, the version 1, we based on the usability that the users didn't even know that they can highlight the note. And there was also inconsistency about the wording which we use. Like on the left-hand side panel, you can see we've used the term notes, and on we have also used bookmark. So in the usability testing, they were confused, like, is it bookmark or is it notes? So in version 2, taking all the feedback into consideration, we added a tip right on the screen where users can know that they can highlight and note. We also made provision that a feedback is given to them, an option where you can highlight, copy the note. And we also make sure that we're using consistent terminology. So we replaced bookmarks with the term notes. In this screen, you can see on special in the version 2, like when the user has highlighted a note, it says, it gives feedback to the user that the highlighted part has been saved to the note section. Theirs is a prototype video. You can see the user is going into course. He's highlighting, and it gives feedback to the user, and it says in the notes section. The favorite has nothing from the all section. The user can delete or favorite any kind of note. In the community, the users can go inside any community, see a post, attend an event, and also see who has created that event, leave an email, send emojis. In the messages section, now you can see the user is trying to fill out the messages based on the date and the course, and the messages is being filtered course-wise and also date-wise. We've also made 2 categories of messages: personal messages and group messages. During our Capstone project, we also reflected back the type of work and the usability feedback, and we concluded few things, and we reflected a lot. We plan to do a 3rd iteration if time permits because this will be our last week before our final submission next week. There's a limit that to where where we can design and incorporate user feedback. We cannot please the entire users. So we made sure, okay, we are prioritizing. There's always keeping an open mind, and accepting feedback is the key to a continued iterative design process. And lastly, I would say that design is ever evolving. There is no limit to it. And as designers, we should also keep evolving. Thank you so much for listening to our presentation. I hope you all enjoy it as much as we enjoyed working on our Capstone presentation.